the show, so I have to put my face on the camera.
Well,
we do. But before we jump into anything in particular, because this
for radio though. So.
All right, well, you shut it.
Oh, it's an old one, but so good. That was. Why'd you walk yourself? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Get out of here. Okay. Why did I invite you to this show?
I don't know.
Before we jump into anything, because this buffoonery is going to happen for the next hour, and I apologize in advance. Should we? I haven't named what it is when you come on here. Should we call it the Obnoxious Basketball Hour? Because that's pretty much what happens. We talk about basketball, and you annoy me for an hour.
I mean, you can call whatever you'd like.
I think that's what we're gonna. I'm gonna message out to some people.
I think
we're gonna try and get some imaging for this.
All-time clutch with Keon Rose. Only when I'm on. It's just regular clutch when it's just you by yourself, and then I bring the all-time clutch. Like all of the episodes I've been on are top 10 episodes for you. That's why we call it all-time clutch. So if there was a top 10 list or an all-time greatest,
that is literally not true. The episode that we had with Bill Bender is Bill Bender's episode.
Oh, that can be on the list. I haven't been on 10 times. So he can sneak in at 10 or 9 if he wants to.
He's been on 10 times. Okay, you know what? Let's just get into... I mean,
you said an episode. I'm sure you're referencing a single episode where he was very good and he raised the level and quality of this program from the trash bin that it lives in with its free music and anyways, whatever.
You might actually hear murder on the air. I'm not promising anything, but I'm saying it's possible.
I don't think they can they try you on just, well, I guess they can try you on audio.
You can actually.
I never claimed to be a lawyer.
I'm not saying I want to find out, but I might. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. Make sure to check us out on the social media, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Search Hot News Talk Radio. You can also go to hotnewstalkradio.com. You can find all of our social media links there. Check us out on YouTube. You can check our classic episodes. We never call them old, just archived for your viewing pleasure. You can see the face of myself and my obnoxious brother. You can also check us out on the TuneIn Radio app. It's absolutely free in your favorite app store. Simply search Hot News Talk Radio in the TuneIn Radio app. Give us a favorite and press play, and you'll have Hot News Talk Radio everywhere you go. So I brought you on to talk about NBA stuff, but let's just run through some news in the world of college football really quickly. And then when I say some news, like I really only have one news story, but it's Tennessee versus Virginia Tech, week 2 matchup between those two schools at a neutral location, Bristol Motor Speedway. They'll be playing there. And that game has sold out. It's sold out in 2 hours.
Naturally, it's the South. Go ahead.
It is the South. And I imagine the people of Bristol, I was going to say something really condescending, but like, what else is there to do in Bristol besides that race?
There's the race. Is there golf there? I feel like there's a golf tournament maybe.
In Bristol?
I don't know.
Maybe. Oh.
There's I'm sure there's beautiful like sunsets and there's
our
nature.
Yankee is showing.
There's nature. I'm sure there's nature somewhere.
You'd have to, right?
I mean, and then obviously this apparently this football game, which the kids are talking about in the streets.
Right. And I like the weird neutral location games. I remember the college basketball game between North Carolina and I believe Wake Forest, and they played on the USS. They played on a battleship. I don't remember exactly what the name of the battleship was.
I saw that game. That was a good game. It was a weird game.
It was a weird game, but it looked really cool. And I think this has got the potential for that. Now, you know that in those big stadiums that they play a lot of the NCAA tournaments, basketball, I mean, in the football stadiums, and they're huge, and it messes with the depth perception of the shooters. Because Bristol is so much bigger than your actual football stadium, does this not mess with the depth perception of the quarterback in some way?
I mean, I don't know. I've never played quarterback on really any level.
On any level besides pick up with some friends.
Pick up with some friends. I mean, I was excellent. Don't get me wrong or anything. I was a fantastic, near perfect, flawless human being. I could have been a pro quarterback.
No, you could. Oh my gosh!
And the vision for it, just not the training or the arm strength. Did you just double face palm on me? Come back to me, Keon. I need you to just verbally affirm that I have at least the frame of a collegiate All-American quarterback. Say those words, and then we can move on to the next point amicably.
You have the height for it. I'm not going to give you the whole frame.
Fine, whatever.
You're tall.
I'll take it.
Okay.
So I can't comment on like the depth perception thing. I think you go to a neutral place, like they sometimes play in London, right?
Yeah.
Anything that isn't sort of your standard approach. This is why away games have such an effect on teams. If you can be affected by that, it's going to affect you. It's just how that is. Like if you're Tom Brady, you don't care. But if you're a college quarterback and it's your second year at Tennessee, you might. Isn't that guy supposed to be good? I don't
Josh
know.
Jobs, and it's his third year now. Like this is the point where just
Is
like
it? Okay.
Yeah,
we know about Tennessee football.
We are you don't know that much about it. This is going to be a hilarious day.
I know they're going to go 8-5. How many games are in the college football season? 13.
Boy, you are just
8-5. That's what I'm calling. I'm calling it now. They're going to start off really hot. There's going to be hope built up, and then they're going to lose it. And that is when I step in.
I think
to laugh at them.
No, you first off, that's not how things work in the SEC, which is that you front load your schedule. Really, like last year,
right? That's what I'm saying.
Tennessee's
start off hot.
All of their tough games were early, so everyone was in panic, doom, and gloom mode pretty early on when they lost that game to Florida, and then they gave the game back to Oklahoma. And then everything else was just cupcakes from after Alabama onwards. And then we were like, okay, you know what? This team's not bad. We just played good schools.
You played better schools.
Played better schools.
The word that you're looking for.
Florida with Will Grier was better than Tennessee last year.
So why do that? Is the hope that they have injuries and have sustained to their top talent, and then you play them when they're closer to their weakest point than their strongest, and you might steal a victory? Is that the idea? Is that front loading?
I have no idea, but all the SEC schools do it. Even Alabama does it. Alabama goes ahead and
it's Southern tradition.
Probably because you want to, if you do lose to a good school, you want that loss to come earlier in your schedule. That's how the voters can go, system. Oh yeah, but look, they've won 6 out of their last 7 or whatever it is. Yeah, it looks better to lose early than late. As you ask Michigan State.
That's true.
So there you go.
Or Oregon.
Though last year Oregon lost early and they lost late. That school is looking a lot different.
Right. I mean, in like a year, Chip Kelly can get bounced from the NFL, and they're going to be like, "Come back, Chip.
Come
Kelly.
back, Chip."
They'll legally recruit people and and whatever else that he does.
I think the NCAA actually would forget that Chip Kelly did sketchy things in the NCAA.
I mean,
we realize
all the way up in Oregon, you'd have to send an investigator, then you'd have to pay for that investigator to stay up there. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of organization, and like a well-run bureaucracy might be able to do that.
But look at
the NCAA is not that.
No, they are not. I mean, they're right there with the Olympics and FIFA.
Oh.
Look, I'm just saying, look at all the schools that they haven't caught with enough evidence. They haven't done anything to North Carolina. They haven't done anything to Syracuse. Alabama was caught with the smoking gun 2 years ago. Nothing. We don't even hear about it.
They got UCLA though, because they don't like
no.
They didn't like what's his name? Pete Carroll. No,
USC.
Excuse me.
And they really
got UCLA
and they really just barely got USC. Pete Carroll left USC holding the bag.
Listen, if you're a college kid about to be recruited by a coach, believe no promises. Go do you 100%. Don't go for a coach. Because a year and a half into you're playing there, you guys are just coming together. He will leave you for money, just like any adult would in a job. It's a job.
It's a job. Look, people forget about
your heart and soul's in it, sure, but only because they pay you and compensate you to put your heart and soul there.
Brian Kelly is at Notre Dame, and we praise him for being such a great coach. Remember when he was coaching the Cincinnati Bearcats and he left right before their bowl game?
Yeah, I do.
Those players hated him. They hated him.
They should, because that was a very
he promised them
a terrible thing to do to a bunch of kids that you were like, I'm going to be here for you all 4 years of your time here. We'll be good together. And then you leave for $3 more million a year or whatever preposterous amount
that's
that they're paying you.
To me, the biggest reason why they got to start paying these kids, because you can't keep telling me it's about the kids. Just mess the kids over, and then somehow they're also not supposed to make money from any of it. Unbelievable to me. So you're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. Something of a tangent there, but it's the idea that college football is just hugely important, and this Bristol game is going to be very interesting. I am crazy excited about how ESPN is going to cover this one, because that's that it's got all of the intrigue that they want in terms of the interesting location. Tennessee is in the national spotlight again. What they do in it is anybody's guess. Virginia Tech has an opportunity to be a very good team as well, though. starting probably lower in the polls. So we'll see. Let's hop to basketball talk.
Thank goodness. Oh my goodness. I thought I drowned.
Yeah, because I could see
like,
you visibly
the
faking.
Panic was in my eyes. I was like, I'm so far past my depth. He's mentioned 4 things I vaguely know about.
Oh gosh.
The rest of it was like, he's speaking French to me.
Check
on a radio, an American radio station in the South.
Check us out on YouTube so you can actually see what Panic and Terror looks like. You can check that out. Check out this show, Clutch with Keon Rose. We do this every day from 6 to 7. Also, you can check out the Entrepreneur Source with Bruce Krebs. Really showed up earlier today, and Bruce Krebs with a lot of knowledge on what it takes to start your own business. Don't join a franchise, because then you got people telling you what to do, and who wants that? So, with no further ado, Kerwin, I'm going to tell you what to do. Let's talk basketball.
I'm a directionless boat. That was a terrible. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, but Stugatzt it. So.
You are a bad person. How dare you? I'm taller, younger, more handsome, more promise.
I'm not going to lie. The more handsome and more promise line, that you are not the only person that applies to.
True.
Okay.
That's like a 95% of America, like, surprised that Stugatz failed up into a job that is better than theirs. Higher profile, better money.
I always, every time I talk about
famous people all the time.
Every time I talk about failing up, I got to mention Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin coached Tennessee. He failed up into the NFL.
Don't trot out the Lane Kiffin rant again.
Then he failed up to USC. Then he failed up to the NFL.
Please don't trot it out.
I don't understand. Some of us work that hard and never get that kind of luck. Okay, so the NBA draft lottery was last night. The Philadelphia 76ers, through all of their tanking, finally with the number 1 overall pick.
Stop Lakers, there, because if we continue, I have to go on to I have a whole spiel. So we have to stop at the Sixers and clap for Sam Hinkie. We're not actually going to clap because
it finally worked.
It finally worked. Clap in your hearts, people.
No Sam Hinkie actually there to appreciate it, but it finally worked.
He got fired, and he will not get any of the credit
for whatever happens next.
For basically this is the bottom of the U-shaped pit that he's dug them. And the only upside is left because you cannot sink further than only winning 10 games this season and finally getting the number 1 pick. And now,
you can't blow it up and do a halfway rebuild.
More than 2 NBA players, good enough caliber to start NBA kind of NBA players. Those kind of guys are going to be on your team, and you'll have, I guess, Brandon Ingram. That's the big debate. Is it Brandon Ingram or Ben Simmons?
Which I'd like to save until the next segment so that we can have more time to talk about that, because we've talked about it on this show with you before. The Ben Simmons red flags, that there are so many red flags. We could be on a battleship of some kind.
If you in the NBA, it looks like a glamour job, and you kind of just, it happens, but it's a job. It's a job. You're interviewing for the job, and if you heard the things that people say about Ben Simmons, would you hire him? That's kind of how you have to approach it. And the answer for me personally in my heart, well, I would hire him, but how much would I pay him?
Correct. I really don't want to pay that guy that much.
Franchise's resources must I dedicate just to make sure that he's happy and that he wants to try and all of this other kind of stuff?
Those rumors are unsettling. Number 2 overall pick is the Los Angeles Lakers. Those are your guys.
Yes.
And number 3 is the Boston Celtics, which is the worst position to be in this draft because
well, no, it's a good position.
It's a good position
pick in the draft, but it's
the consensus 1-2 guys are gone, right? For sure.
It's a 2-man draft, as they say, where there are 2 players that people think have any promise, and then everybody else is like, well, shrug. Another 2-man draft. Well, actually, this was a no-man draft. Was back in 2013 when Anthony Bennett went first, and the best player in that draft is Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he went 13th or something like that, 15th.
15th, and they were
Milwaukee Bucks.
Giannis is a year away from being 2 years away. Was the analysis on Giannis, and it turns out he was ready to play.
And he's just 6'10" and can dribble like a guard, and that's more than enough to get it done in the NBA. So
there you go.
Prove them wrong.
But the Anthony Bennett thing is just confusing. Just on a number of levels.
Retrospectively, it's confusing. But in the moment, people were legitimately he's a really good athlete.
I wouldn't have taken him number 1. I thought he was a top 5 guy.
In fact, there are a lot of great comparisons. Well, not great comparisons because he was always perpetually out of shape and oft injured. But a lot of comparisons to Ben Simmons' work ethic, to Anthony Bennett's work ethic, and what is important to Anthony Bennett and what is important to Ben Simmons sometimes look to be the same thing. And that's worrisome.
And that is horrifying.
Anthony Bennett doesn't play in the NBA anymore, and it's been 2 years.
Oh, he's really gone?
I'm pretty sure he doesn't play in the NBA. I don't know what he felt. They cut him from the Timberwolves after they got him. So last year they cut him, and
Good
after
grief.
the end of last year. So I don't know. Maybe someone took a swing at him or took a pass at him. Some NBA GM that really, really believes in the talents of an out of shape, I don't know, power forward that's too small to play power forward, small forward too big to play small forward, can't shoot guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah.
You're always stuck in the NBA if you're that tweener between
this
3
is
and
too
4.
granular. Let's get back to the rant.
Fine. All right.
It's too granular.
Back out.
I am so relieved. Okay. I shut down my work day yesterday. I couldn't leave. I was too nervous. I was going to go work out. There was going to get some writing done. I was going to be productive. And then around 7:00, I realized my stomach was just in a tatters. My mind was racing a million miles an hour. I just laid in bed and stared at the ceiling and waited for the results to come in. And by 8, I was relieved. It was like Old Yeller getting put out of his misery behind the barn, but in a good way. We got number 2 pick.
Never heard anyone use that analogy.
It's an accurate analogy.
Okay.
It felt like sweet relief of death, or in this case, ecstasy. And we got the number 2 pick, which, without getting into like the thing that kind of holds NBA's offseason from being 100% fun, which is like the ridiculous number of rules you have to go down to figure out what happens. We lose our pick if we pick anything but in the top 3. We got the number 2 pick. Only 2 good players in the draft. We're happy. I can work with this kind of happiness. We won 17 games last year. We would have only won 16, except Kobe went for 60, and Utah forgot how to play defense. So
just in the final 5 minutes of that game, bonkers.
Everything worked out better than expected, or as expected for a lot of people. But for me personally, the only scenario I could imagine is us dropping to 5 and the world laughing at the LA Lakers,
which we have been doing continuously for 3 years.
We've been a joke for 3 years, so it's accurate to laugh when someone says something funny, or in this case, runs a franchise into stories franchise into the ground, and then does it again the next year, and then again the next year.
I find that particularly humorous.
That's weird.
Yeah, that tends to do that. So we're coming up to the break here, but I want to talk about around the corner the matchup last night with the Raptors and the Cavs, which we will spend almost no time on. Because,
I have 2 thoughts on it,
and you shouldn't have any more than 2 thoughts. I actually have just thoughts. 1. So we'll see about that. Also, break down Thunder Warriors, because this is starting to turn out into a postseason for the Thunder that I think very few of us expected it to go this direction. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. We're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs, and maybe we might get into some other news just tangled up in that next.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra-large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community, offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet-friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com That's CrossCreekChattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to CrossCreekChattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas.
Just imagine not a cloud in the sky. It's the perfect day on the water. You could be enjoying boating with friends or wetting your line to catch a fish. Or maybe it's just you and that special someone on a sunset cruise. All of this without the hassle of owning a boat with your membership in the Carefree Boat Club. As you relax and spend time with the ones you care about, you have the peace of mind of knowing you're a member of the Carefree Boat Club. Weekends were made for relaxing and being hassle-free, just like the Carefree Boat Club. Let us take the worry out of boat ownership. No matter if you enjoy fishing, skiing, cruising the lake, or maybe even an overnight adventure, we have a boat for you at the Carefree Boat Club. Start making memories today. Call 423-619-7156 to join. Boating season is here, so do not wait. Call now, 423-619-7156. Carefree Boat Club is located at the Harbor Lights Marina, 9718 Hickson Pike.
Poof! Just like a magician, Les's Pawn Shop can turn the stuff that's just lying around in your house and garage into cold, hard cash. Les's Pawn Shop on Highway 58 in Chattanooga will buy, sell, and scrap anything of value. Hey, and get this. If you're looking for anything from guns and jewelry to guitars and tools, you'll find it at Les's Pawn Shop. Quality pre-owned items. Les's Pawn Shop on Highway 58 in Chattanooga also buys gold and silver at top prices. And if they don't have it, they can order it for you. Les's Pawn Shop, Highway 58 in Chattanooga, where you'll get top dollar for your stuff. And you'll be surprised at the wide variety of our unique items. So the next time you're looking to buy, sell, trade, or scrap anything, from jewelry to coins and currency, guns and ammo, music and tools, stop by Les's Pawn Shop, 4742 Highway 58, Chattanooga. Call 702-5868. That's 702-5868. LesPawnShop.com. That's Les with one S, pawnshop.com. Poof! Just like a magician, Les's Pawn Shop can turn the stuff that's just lying around in your house and garage into cold, hard cash.
Expect partly cloudy skies through the nighttime. Pleasant overnight, lows mid and upper 50s with some patchy late fog. Now for your Thursday, a partly cloudy, warm, dry day. Expected highs 80 to 82 with showers and thunder showers marching in from the west. Friday could be a wet one with highs near 70. Get ready for Riverbend, June 10th through the 18th, featuring discounted admission now at Area Kangaroo Express and Circle K locations. Save $15 off the gate price with discounted tokens at Food City. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ward.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. Ooltewah High School's head basketball coach Andre Montgomery has been indicted by the Hamilton County Grand Jury. He's scheduled to appear before criminal court judge Don Poole on June the 3rd for an arraignment hearing. He's been charged with 4 counts of failure to report child sexual abuse. This is all connected to the Ooltewah rape case. A youth ministry volunteer at the Hamilton County Church has been arrested after the pastor says a congregation member alerted him that he had been sending nude photographs to a teenage girl. 22-year-old Alexander Baggett is accused of sending these pictures to a 15-year-old girl over Snapchat, which she then took screenshots of. She sent him photos as well, according to the report. Baggett has been charged with 3 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor by electronic means and 2 counts of exploitation of a minor. A body was found by firefighters fighting a fire on Valley Pond Broker at Highway 28. Crews were forced to shut down the road for several hours while the TBI was investigating the body found. So far, the identity has not been released, and the TBI is still investigating. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot News Talk Radio.
Hot News Talk 1240.
The NBA playoffs continue to heat up, so I'd love for us to talk about Cavs-Raptors Game 1. My brother has 2 thoughts. I just have 1. So you go with your 2 first.
Okay, well, one is just the uncontroversial, LeBron is great to watch. Still great fun to watch. And it's really easy to shoot 84% when you dunk like 6 of those shots. But whatever. Throw that to the side. I don't know. And the other one is, man, do the Raptors look like the 7th best team in the entire NBA?
It doesn't look
the
good.
2nd best team. It really does. There's not really any, maybe not even the 7th. There are some teams that did make the playoffs
that would play Cleveland better right now
no, it's
than
so
Toronto
awful.
is.
Well, what are you going to do?
My one thought is, good Lord, the Raptors are bad.
I have a third thought. I can't wait for LeBron to destroy the Raptors in Toronto in front of Drake. That's also kind of uncontroversial.
That is also a very cool
I think
thought.
the rest of the world wants to see that as well.
I don't know where people fall on Drake, and yes, I understand if you don't like Drake, his music's not for you. I don't like him. Okay, I just don't.
I don't understand that. I mean, I don't really care for Drake's music, but he's personable enough. My thing is, he's an overexcited fan, and it's just fun to watch people who are super invested in something.
That's true. Like the super fans, like whenever the Jets would lose and Fireman Ed would just be the most depressed person on earth, that was great.
Like some of the best moments for me watching the NCAA tournament is watching children crying in the stands as their basketball team is ushered out of the tournament because they're terrible or because they had an off night. Not even because they're terrible. Sometimes just because you had an off night and your team gets bounced. And it's just, Kentucky fans, like 7-year-olds, just weeping,
just crying, weeping. the little UK paint underneath their eyes streaking down to their little chins.
Oh, yeah, the mascara was awful and also amazing. Just I can't believe Skal Labissiere didn't come through. I can.
Everyone can. That guy was a bust of recruiting.
He's not a bust. He's young and a raw talent. Look, he might be a bust.
He might not be a bust in the NBA, but he was a bust of recruiting for what Kentucky thought they were going to get from him.
Here's the thing: I'm watching Skal Labissiere, and he's athletic, run and jump, great looking. He's a tall guy who could run and block shots. He's going to make an NBA roster. My issue is, what does he do? Like, name one thing he does well that you were enjoying. Brandon Ingram's got great drives, a nose for the basket, can really shoot the basketball. Ben Simmons got great passing. Name one thing that you're excited to see Skal Labissiere do on an NBA level.
The thing I'm excited to see him do.
Keon? Is that about your list?
No, the thing I'm about to say is I'm really excited to see him be tall near the rim. Just continue to do the thing that he's been doing, which is to be nearly 7 feet tall.
A great big man that includes what's the dude that we Kwame Brown,
right?
and
Kwame Brown was undersized,
and Greg Oden, who are very tall basketball men who had no other whose skills just did not transfer to the NBA and were just tall next to the basket, listed as the first and best thing that they do.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why Greg Oden's career didn't actually work is because he couldn't be on the court because of his knees.
Because his knees sucked. And so when he was on the court, he was tall and next to the basket, which is my favorite thing about him, I guess, looking back retrospectively.
I don't know if that's something you want someone to say about you.
My second favorite thing was Brandon Roy. About him specifically was another human being that he played with. So,
yeah, that's true.
So again, not in the league.
But we digress. That's all the thoughts that we have on Cavs Raptors. We're not going to put you to sleep talking about that horrible dreck of a series. If the Raptors win even one game, I will be shocked. I will think of some crazy radio bet to make about that because I will be surprised.
LeBron might, he might decide that he's going to go talk to Dwayne Wade and seek his counsel in Miami and then just miss the plane. That would be the only reason. And then LeBron's not there. And then Kyrie Irving, well, if LeBron's not here, well, I'm not going to show up for work. Again, it would have to be LeBron, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving all not show up.
Yeah, they just all...
The Raptors are so demonstrably worse.
LeBron and Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving all stayed up late playing Settlers of Catan, overslept, missed the plane, and didn't go to the stadium. That is the only way. That is literally the only way. That exact scenario, because I can't even imagine a scenario where
stayed up late discussing the mind-body problem and Rene Descartes, and they just just the philosophers, those guys, and
well, I hear LeBron's a reader.
They were too tight. No, I believe it. LeBron's a smart guy. I doubt that Kyrie
even looks at books. I'm not going to lie. He doesn't strike me as that guy.
And I don't know what
Kevin Love strikes me actually even less as that guy.
I have no feel for Kevin Love. Like, I don't know what he does in his off time. I don't even want to speculate. I'm just like,
he just seems like a bro to me, and that's
does
not
he
the
seem
kind
like a bro? Because if you heard him talk, he's the whiniest bro. Then because he's the whiny bro.
Is there not that guy in every group though?
That's true. That's
all I'm saying.
I think maybe I'm that one. I should really identify with Kevin Love, but I don't. I have nothing. We
have nothing to go on.
I have no comment or criticism of Kevin Love. He's a human being that plays basketball very well.
Very, very well. So let's walk it back here before we jump to Thunder Warriors, because we get off the trails very often. It's very easy to do, and it's incredibly fun, unfortunately for you. So back on to our Ben Simmons talk, because it's Simmons and Ingram in the draft. Mm-hmm. Those are your consensus 1-2 guys. The guy that you say, you know what, you can't miss with either guy, even though looking back through the years that we have ever said that in sports, Andrew Luck, Robert Griffin, Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning, John Wall, Evan Turner, you actually could miss on one of those guys.
Is that you could miss. Yeah, they're missed guys. Here's the thing. Part of the thing with some of those stories is Ryan Leaf is just an unfortunate. I mean, the Chargers took him, and so personally very sad for me in my heart. But Ryan Leaf was just not ready at all for what was going to happen being taken in the top 2. And the other guys, you could make a case with the Robert Griffin III thing that
actually didn't work out for 1 year.
It worked out for a year, but like it's not even that. It's that the reason it didn't work out long term is that they're just a bad fit. Robert Griffin III is a politician kind of quarterback. You need somebody to bring out just the quarterback. Like, you need to leave the politician on the sideline when you step onto the field. I just need the quarterback. I just need you to quarterback this team. I don't need you to worry about getting how many hits you're taking or how you're running or how you're playing the position. You play inside this offense. And I don't know that Mike Shanahan is an enabler.
He's an enabler. Also, he is also a politician. Instead of telling you to just shut up, he will politic with you. And it's unfortunate.
And it taught Robert Griffin that's how it's going to be. Now, I don't know how he's going to be in the future. He might bounce back. We don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, that is the beginning of the end. Plus, he had injuries and all this other kind of stuff.
None of that helped either.
That doesn't help, but you can bounce back from a leg injury. Robert Griffin knew his position and was always angling for it. And it wears on you, man. Like, initially, it's like, oh, man, this guy's awesome. And then, like, we all know that person. They're like, initially, oh, man, this guy has a great point of view, clear, concise. And it's like, what is he really talking about?
Like, what is actually wrong with you, dude? What about Wall Turner?
Oh, okay. See, Wall Turner, again, it's a case of either to do, it's like the way that the guy's wired, which is what's worrying me about Ben Simmons. Evan Turner is just a weird guy. He's just weird.
Just a strange
you
person.
You hear Evan Turner tweet about himself in the third person, which
I accept. Like, there's a level
bad. I wish I had some pulled up. And
there's a level of greatness I actually accept, where if you tweet in the third person, like, you're good. Like, if you're LeBron, you're Michael Jordan, you're Magic Johnson, you're on Twitter.
LeBron doesn't tweet in the third person.
But if he did, I would be okay with it. But even if, like, that does make it worse.
Those guys would never do that. That's why they're LeBron and Michael Jordan. They would never do that. You would never have to tell them, don't tweet in a third person. You are the first person perspective. Just tweet like you're talking to somebody, like how you would write something down on a piece of paper, or how you would tell somebody something about yourself in speech. Unless, of course, you do that all the time, in which case, that's even weirder.
It is even weirder, which gets us to now Ben Simmons. Not that Ben Simmons is wired weird, but we are worried about the way that this guy is wired.
Is worrisome, okay? Right off the bat, you hear reports about him angling in the draft. And this is worrisome only in the idea that
this politician concept is coming back into play.
It's back into play. He has his agent. He wants to go LA or bust. It's worth roughly, to him, going to the bigger market. There's a shoe deal on the line. There's all these other kind of things that we don't really care about, but it's worth $2 million to him, and therefore worth specifically not going to Philadelphia, and where there are 1-0 shooters because he can't shoot, so he needs people around him who can, and where he's not sure that the institution.
Does Philly still have Stauskas?
They still have Stauskas, but can Stauskas shoot at an NBA level? Because
I don't know.
He's slow.
I don't know.
He's slow. Like, he's got to be, I don't know,
really open. They
doesn't be really open, and he might be really open if Ben Simmons is as good as we all think he is. But
if he tries as hard as we hope he'll try.
The big one for me is that he's been described multiple times now in different articles as having a known off switch. A known off switch, Keon? Really? What does that even mean? You're a basketball player. You play basketball on the basketball court. Why are you not doing that? Does it make any sense?
That's the reason. That's one of the things that scared people about if you talk about the NFL, like Robert Kimdichie. That whole you don't try. Like sometimes you just don't. Like, he admitted it. You can't do that. Like sometimes you just don't feel like trying.
Listen, it's scary because a lot of people are investing in the concept of you. Now, a lot of people in life go about life not trying 100%. So I don't want to shame him so much. And it's something you could definitely grow out of. But is he going to have the time to grow out of? NBA prospects, as we mentioned before with Anthony Bennett, 2-3 years, and then they move on from you. You can't shoot. You can't seem to fit in with a defensive concept. We don't need you anymore. We could find a guy at your price to do the same thing that you're doing, and not have this huge ego. Like that's a huge thing. It's a really big thing. I don't know.
My big deal with the whole off switch thing is, like, imagine you're here in Chattanooga. You're a small business owner. Okay. Someone sends you a job application with their references. You call one of the references and that person tells you, yeah, such and such is really talented. They've got a lot of potential. Sometimes they don't try that hard. They have a known off switch. You hiring that person?
Then you hang up. And here's the thing. You hang up. Okay, maybe that guy has a grudge against this employee. I'm going to try again. And you call a second source, a completely different human being. And the other human being, in different words maybe, but same concept, says known off switch. What? What, Ben Simmons?
No, you can't do that. And then you watch the LSU games. He mailed it in the second half of that season. The second half of the season when it became
apparent
they weren't going to make the tournament.
No, that was not that they weren't going to make the court, but that they needed a kind of like a Hail Mary kind of thing, and they needed these games. And he saw the games they needed to win, and in those games he tried okay, but there were other games where they probably could have won those, and those would have attributed to the win and loss record, which they needed. They needed those wins and losses, and he just packed it in. He was like, "Oh, I don't have any help."
And then they didn't even play in the NIT. The tournament that's not.
Oh no,
well noted.
They played. No, they didn't play. That's right.
Yeah, they opted not to play, and I know why. Because
Ben Simmons was like,
I'm just telling you, this is my opinion. I'm not saying I know personally, but I don't feel like Ben Simmons was going to play in some worthless tournament games.
It's crazy to me, and I don't know. It's just so weird to hear these things.
It's bizarre, no?
It's disappointing, is what it is. It's bizarre and disappointing, and then it's worse because the contrast is Brandon Ingram, and Brandon Ingram, who also has some holes in his game and definitely needs to, put on some muscle mass, is described as this great locker room guy. He's younger than almost everybody on that Duke team, is sort of falls into a place as their natural offensive leader, wants the ball at the end of games, but is known to be a hard worker and is, quote, what was it again?
A no maintenance guy.
No maintenance basketball. What?
You don't have to tell him to do anything.
Human breed is this? No maintenance?
Most of you parents out there wish you had no maintenance children.
Right.
Like a child you didn't have to tell to clean their room, do their homework, stop hanging out with weird kids. Yeah. Wouldn't that be great?
Came home before dark. You know what?
And you didn't have to say a word.
Put out the dishes for dinner. Said, "Mom, I love you" before bed. Read himself a good night story. Like, that's the kind of this is
no maintenance.
Like a sort of like a wake up in the morning, put food in front of, and sort of raise your self child that you dream of. Like
Sunday morning, you wake up, the child is cooking you breakfast.
Right.
No maintenance.
Mother's Day somehow saved up for a bouquet of flowers for you. What?
Come on, man.
Come on.
I'm leaning Ingram. I'm not going to lie. You give me a choice between those two guys right now.
Listen, to me, you choose the harder worker over. Like, even if Ben Simmons, you say he has 60%, not 60. It's not. I don't think it's that far of a gap. He has 20% more upside. So if he actually works out in this league, he's a 20% better player. That puts him from maybe an all-star level into superstar level.
I don't like the risk.
The risk is too high.
The risk is that this guy's not playing basketball in 5 years.
And so,
because he's one of those. There's not a whole lot of middle ground with him. If he shows up and is engaged,
if he's a bust, he's out of the league in 4 years, because if he doesn't work hard, he's not going to be able to guard a 3 or a 4. So you don't have even the defensive thing to fall back on.
Right.
He's gun shy, and he, as we've said multiple times, known off switch. So if he's not engaged or he doesn't care, he's not going to try.
My dude refused to shoot 3-pointers. I think because he thought they would make him look bad. He only attempted 3.
He just seems so coached up, and so already at the age of 19, like he knows this has to happen this way, kind of thing. Instead of just, it's the NBA, it's life. This is how these things happen. They don't always go your way. You're going to make it if you just put in the work, and I'm not sure he's about putting in the work.
I don't think so. Don't Robert Griffin yourself, my dude. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio Clutch with Keon Rose. Joining me today is my brother Kerwin Rose, a writer and huge basketball fan / analyst person. I have basketball questions. I take them to him. So here we are on the cusp of Game 2, Warriors Thunder. The Thunder,
huge game, huge. It's huge.
I mean, wow, you just turned into a Bostonian. You just swallowed.
I think it's New York.
Swallowed an H.
Huge.
Hole. Yeah, that's true. Trump,
York.
huge.
Huge.
Just literally, they don't even pronounce the H. What on earth is that?
So why?
Just completely swallow the H alive. So the Thunder have bucked some expectations. I personally had the Spurs penciled in for this series.
Right. I was so excited for Spurs Warriors, and it didn't happen. And
even when the Thunder were up 3-2 in the Spurs Thunder series, I was like, yeah, Spurs are going to beat them in 7. Like, I just really didn't believe that it was going to happen until it happened.
It's just so crazy. And I like the Thunder, and their consistency problem seems to have just disappeared over the last 9 games. They've played the best basketball that they've played in like 3 years.
And to the point where they've won games that are within 5 points or less. They've won all 5 of those in the postseason. They lost 20 of those in the regular season. Right. Still somehow finished with 50 wins, by the way.
Right. No, they're a really good basketball team. So they're going to win 50 games. That was maybe kind of penciled in, but they could have won 65.
They easily won 65. They lost 20 games decided by 5 points or less. And that's a very large number. And so here they are against the Warriors. They beat the Warriors in Game 1, which I don't know if anybody saw that one coming because of how they were handled during the regular season. But Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant posed some matchup problems for Golden State that I don't think that we accounted for before.
Well, I think we did account for them. Like, that was the thing, is Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, where's the help coming from? But, you're getting really decent minutes out of Kanter. Initially, Golden State played Kanter off the floor. Enes Kanter is a great offensive rebounder, has a really efficient post game, slow feet. Slow feet. And Golden State, he would be guarding Draymond Green or Andre Iguodala in the corner or Harrison Barnes, and Golden State would just run a screen for his man, and he would just be lost in space. He's a terrible defensive player, maybe just awful.
Well,
and
the other day he had 2 blocks in a game. Looked at the stat sheet during the post game press conference, and he himself was surprised.
His head must have hurt because he didn't. What was this? That resonance. When my hand hit the ball on the wrong end, and usually it's supposed to just sail over easily into the basket. What is this? Is this what they call defense? Yes.
Yes, Inez. That is what they call that.
I don't know. Listen, it's an interesting matchup, mainly because the Thunder know they can't play small against the Warriors, have no interest in playing small against the Warriors, and they have Steven Adams is playing like maybe the 4th or 5th best player in the series. Ibaka's not in his slump that he's been in year long. He's playing like the 6th
coming
best
alive
player in the series. And last night, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook outplayed Green and Curry. And if that happens 2 more times, this thing might be over very quickly. Golden State is a deeper team and they're a better coach team, but sometimes you just can't overcome, young athleticism and just freakish athleticism, really, because Russell Westbrook is the scariest athlete in the league. And Kevin Durant is the most unique specimen in the league, and they're both top 5 players.
Correct. They put Klay Thompson on Russell Westbrook, and Russell Westbrook was having his lunch. Okay. I mean, like it was the speed difference was so stark. Like you could see how much faster Russell is than everyone else on the floor.
I'm interested in like when the series goes on, Russell Westbrook's legs he doesn't have as much pop at the end of series, generally, in my opinion.
Which makes sense.
Right. And his legs take a little mileage. So if the Warriors can just not lose this game here, going down 2-1 isn't the end of the world. But going down 2-0, having given up both your home games, it's tough.
And Oklahoma City, that's a loud
building. Got to win 4 out of 5. Oh, it's tough. That's a lot to ask. And I think this goes 7 games. I think it's the Warriors eventually in the end. But the Thunder needed this game 1, and so game 2 feels like a must-win for both teams, because if the Warriors can figure out the Thunder in Game 2, there's no promise of holding home court advantage for the Thunder for the rest of the series, because the Warriors are so good at they've been so good at like narrowing in at what you're weakest at, and then just hitting that over and over and over again.
That's been Steve Kerr's best abilities, his ability to adjust, and then when he finds that little piece in the armor that's broken, he just hammers it until it's done.
Right, like how they made Mozgov near unplayable in the last 8 minutes of that clinching game. Was it 5 or 6? It was Game 5, I think, when they finally like locked in the series in the final, and then like they won Game 6. But like when they figured out, Mozgov can't guard Green, and Green, if he makes great passes in the paint, we're going to have open corner threes and layups.
It's a good night.
For 8 minutes, and that's what happened. It's exactly what happened.
And I will say that you'd be hard-pressed. I went back and watched some of the game again. You'd be hard-pressed to say that Golden State didn't miss some threes that they would usually make. Steph didn't miss really any. I think
what's interesting there is that it looked a lot like they did miss a lot of shots that they usually make, but Thunder weren't that. Like Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant combined for 17 and 51. It's not like they were so much better. It's just they executed coming down the stretch, and they got more out of their big man than the Thunder did from their role players. Like Harrison Barnes cannot continue to be a net negative.
And who shall? They have to find something to do with Kevin Durant, because they took away his 3-point shooting by putting Harrison Barnes can guard Kevin really well on the perimeter. But then Kevin realized about halfway through the third quarter, oh yeah, I'm bigger than you. And they just started posting up Kevin Durant on Harrison Barnes, and like Harrison helpless.
I think Harrison also in space is weirdly not that great. Like he gets, if you hit a screen or any kind of thing where Harrison has to figure out a way to both show and get back to his man, his recovery rate is so slow for a guy that kind of explosive and athletic.
He's very quick.
He's just 2-foot jumper, and I think that's the big problem is like the quickness isn't
right
there.
He's usually very quick, but just to recover defensively, yeah, he does look lost. I agree with you on that one. Going ahead to the finals, do you think somehow, like, first off, which team matches up better with Cleveland? Because I think
which team matches up probably, listen, I think it's OKC matches up better. I think they're both better than Cleveland, but interestingly, OKC's length has bothered 3-point shooting teams, which is what the Cavs have morphed into, and they actually have the pieces to guard everything that the Cavs can put on the court. I think it's just way more interesting to watch. LeBron and them are really good at creating shots, even with tight spaces, but oh my goodness. Channing Frye versus Kevin Durant, which is what would happen for at least 3 minutes of every game. That's 13 points OKC's way every single time.
That's a nightmare.
It would be, I think, no matter what, it's over 5 or 6 games for a Western Conference team. That Eastern Conference is a joke. There's no real way to measure how good the Cavs are, because they just I mean,
Eastern Conference is awful. Thank you for listening to Clutch with Keon Rose here on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. Thank you for joining me today, giving me just a little slice of your time. And thank you, Kerwin, for joining us today on the show. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch, and I'll see you. We're out.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. Shake, shake, shake it at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. The most delicious and unique milkshakes. How about this for delicious and different? Add freshly cooked bacon to any milkshake.
Is that even legal?
You bet your milkshake and booty it is. Chocolate caramel bacon shake. Coffee caramel shake. All hand blended. Shake, shake, shake it. Down at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Just about any flavor shake that you can imagine. And they are delicious. Get your shake, shake, shake on at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Five Guys Burgers and Fries, located in Hickson at North Point. Gun Barrel at the Walmart Center. Downtown 4th and Broad. And in Cleveland at Keith and Stewart.
Shake, shake, shake.